Welcome back to the ESD-ESBL podcast. This is Mark, and I'm today joined by Steph. Hi, Steph.
Hi.
Steph did a remote internship this year with the ESD-ESBL remote internship program. And maybe it's worth to mention that we are recording this session on Zoom. So if there are any delays between Steph and me, please apologize. But this is, especially in these times, the easiest way. So Steph, you were on a remote internship. Maybe tell us a little bit how you found out about ESD, maybe how you decided to do a remote internship, because remote internships have, you are staying at home, and ESD is about going abroad actually. And so maybe walk us a little bit through that.
Sure. So I was constantly checking the exchange platform for different offers, because I'm always looking for internships or something interesting that might happen. And then I saw the offer for this internship, which was with IST Global, basically. It was an internship for the summer. Originally was for about 5 weeks, and it was held by IST Poland. And I saw that it was in the business administration, marketing internship. So what attracted me the most was that it was a remote internship, actually, because back then I was like, Corona happening and you don't know whether you can travel abroad or not. So I checked it out and actually quite liked the project because it was together with IST Global, basically, and you got to see how the marketing operations in over 80 countries were being held, So I thought, oh, this is pretty cool because, I'm already a member of IST. I was like, okay, this gives me the opportunity to get to know even more about it. And so I think this was around May. For the application, April, May, and then I applied for it and got to know Olga, which is the head of operations.
Yes, exactly.
And then they said, okay, cool, we want you to do the internship with us, plus another guy from Ireland.
And I think he was from Northern Ireland, Kieran, yes. I guess.
Yeah, Kieran, yeah. So we did it together, and then we got to know each other in July, basically, which was when the internship started.
Yeah, how was it then actually? Because we know Olga, she was also a guest on the podcast. Olga was basically she's based in Warsaw in Poland, and Kieran was from Northern Ireland. How was it for you then to have this international team in the end, also sitting at home?
It was quite interesting. I quite liked it. At that point, we kind of were used to having everything online in our courses in the university and so on. So it didn't feel so far apart at that point. And Olga was very supportive all the time, which she made the job basically not feeling like a job, but very soft, let's say. And with Kieran also, we managed to have some more talks on our own, not always with Olga. So I think we managed pretty well.
Yeah, I was in the board and we had the session with you and Kieran and about presenting report. When you presented the report about the results, and it was a marketing strategy report, and it was quite impressive and also quite important. So basically, was it also for you to apply for the internship because you knew that this is something really valuable? It was for us as ESD, ESBL, so the global level. This was something attractive to you, right?
Yes, because basically my masters also are half in engineering stuff and half business management and marketing. So I thought this is a good plus for my CV and also to learn to work with a super international level. IST is like a huge organization, and just the fact that we were having the support and all the tools to access these and learn more about marketing in an international level was fantastic. So yeah.
So let's talk about your study. So maybe can you tell us what's your study field and how it benefited? Because like you just said, it's engineering and business. So
yes.
Maybe tell us a little bit about it.
Okay, so I have a background in polymer engineering, which I studied in China. And then I came to Austria for a master's in management in polymer technologies. So this basically half polymer science stuff, half marketing, business, global strategy, and so on. So yeah, when we were talking about the marketing part here in the remote internship, you know, it was like having access or getting to know how it works, marketing from a very international perspective in a huge organization. So I think this is, you know, useful for my field, because it doesn't matter that IST is a non-profit or whatever, it's a global organization. You learn marketing tools about that, and then it's later on useful for me that I want to follow this in my career.
Okay, that's cool. You said you studied in China, and because we know each other, so you are from Ecuador originally.
Yes,
Maybe I think that's really fascinating, because you're from Ecuador. You studied in China. Now you study in Austria, and there where you learned about the ESTE. Maybe if it's okay for you, would you like a little bit explain or tell us about it? Because I think that's really like what we also can call a global citizen.
Mm-hmm. Well, yes, I'm from Ecuador. Originally, yes, I was studying my bachelor's in Ecuador, but I decided to take a gap year, and I went to China for a year. Originally, it was supposed to be just 1 year, but I really loved China, and I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna stay here.
Yeah.
So I found what I wanted to study, and I moved cities from Beijing to Harbin, which is northeast China, a little bit close to Russia. So I did my bachelor's there for 4 years. After that, I moved to Vietnam for some time, just for like around 7-8 months. And then I came to Austria, yes, because I wanted to pursue my master's, and I wanted to do them in Europe. And originally I wanted to do them in Poland, but they didn't have my major, what I wanted to study, like this mix of business and engineering. So yeah, then I was traveling in Vietnam, and I met some guys, and like, oh, how about Austria and Linz? And I was like, oof, okay, let me check it out.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's how I ended up in Austria, basically, living here in Linz. Yeah.
Wow. I mean, I didn't know. I thought you always that the traveling in Vietnam was not so long, but like 6 to 8 months, that's quite some time to also get to know the culture and people.
Yeah.
Maybe how was it for you then on the remote internship? Because something about the discussion, and we as ESTA, we stand also for this cultural exchange. So we normally, when you go on the ESTA internship, you have a group of people there from all around the globe. And how was it for you then? Because somehow this was missing somehow, because normally, you have all those parties. But did you also manage to have, like with Olga and Kieran, some let's say leisure time, so to say, so like some time off where it was not about work?
Yes, we had a couple of sessions, just like a coffee session. We would just talk about us and how the situation in our countries here, how we're coupling with Corona. But also IST Poland was very supportive. Like there, they have this program for interns, like this remote interns, like me, and that we just had some sessions over Zoom, and they did like a little questions and answers game, and they would just like call us and see how we are. So they were super friendly, and I think that's also another way they try really hard also to show us the Polish culture and how welcoming they are. So
Yes.
I was in Poland before, and I know Poland, like my favorite country in Europe. So I was very happy to be in touch with other Polish students, but they really, really they made it great. You feel welcomed even you're like so far away. So I was very happy that they did it for us. Yeah.
That sounds actually amazing. And I think that's still something with Zoom. We are all now so much used, like you said, also universities. I mean, we are both based in Austria, so universities based on Zoom, and now also your work. And I think you can still transport something about this culture exchange. And in the end, sometimes you in the end build friendships, and then it's really nice to finally see each other in person, maybe after the crisis. So that's something to looking forward to.
Yes, and actually for me it was super lucky, because at the end I went to Poland in August in Warsaw, and I stayed there for like almost a month, I think. So I managed to meet Olga like face to face.
Cool.
Yeah, so we went for food and for ice cream. It was like super nice. So the fact that you get to meet your boss, let's say,
Yeah.
it was really cool, and I'm happy because it felt like we built a friendship there, not just
Yeah.
that far away relationship. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Maybe let me ask you, how was it during the work? Because normally when you're also working at, say, on-site in a company, you have, let's say, some check-ins with your partner. So maybe how was it throughout the internship? How often did you meet Olga? How often did you align? I mean, you told us about the coffee sessions, but how was it then basically the onboarding process? Then while you were working, how often did you meet up? And then the end, the report creation?
Okay, so it was actually very flexible. And originally, as I said, it was supposed to be only for about 5 weeks, but we
Mhm.
actually took longer because we went a little bit out of our way to make the internship better. At the beginning was just a certain analysis, but we thought we could add something more. So we shared this with Olga and said, like, we could do this extra thing to expand the internship. And she was like super on board, like, yeah, that sounds amazing. Even if we take longer, don't worry. So yeah, it was very flexible on that sense. And working time, it was not very strict either, that you have to, let's say, get up at 8 and be on your desk at 9 until certain time now, because we both were studying basically at the same time. So sometimes we had exams, we say, okay, today we're not going to work, or
Mhm.
was just very flexible overall. Yeah.
That's very great. I really like the fact also that you said it was basically that Kieran and you said, okay, you want to do more, and that's how why it was basically longer in the end. Because I think especially on the remote internship side, we see now, and also when for people now working at home office, I'm basically at home from work since March last year, and it's always about your self motivation and getting things done, and maybe putting the best into the project of yourself and getting the self motivation right. Maybe if we already started this topic, maybe about the daily routine, we brought out from yesterday's perspective. We published a video also on YouTube when we were discussing, some daily routines when you're working from home, because I think that's something a lot of people had to learn in the last year. Maybe getting up early. Maybe walk us a little bit when on a normal working day. So you had no exam, and so how was it a little bit? Also, maybe to avoid all those distractions we have. There's Netflix, Amazon Prime, YouTube, and so on, and I think we all loved like good movies and good series, TV series. So how was it for you, like the daily routine to avoid these traps, these distractions?
Mm, okay, so I think it was necessary that we gave ourselves some deadlines and some updating dates. So we'll say, okay, from here in 2 weeks, this date, we will talk about our progress. So we know during this time we had to achieve certain things. As I said, it was pretty flexible. It didn't matter that one day you work 1 hour and the next day you work 12. It was really up to you. But in my case, I really tried to have a steady schedule considering the other things that I had to do in university and so on. So yeah, let's say if I wanted to work in the morning, I would try to set my waking up time, and just getting out of the bed, like actually changing your clothes, you just wash your face or brush your teeth, you have your nice breakfast, and actually change your clothes and then sit down and think, okay, this is the time when I have to do this. Because if you're in university, sometimes you just get up and immediately go to desk with your pajamas, and you don't put yourself in this working mentality, let's say. So that helped a lot.
Yeah, I think that's the mindset we also, I mean, we did in the publishing, but I think especially in the beginning, people had to learn, okay, also to get up in the morning on time and changing clothes, having your normal morning routine as you would go to office, because then you get yourself the mindset, okay, now it's working time, it's not leisure, it's working, I have to be focused, I should get these things done. And also you mentioned those deadlines. So did you basically set up meetings then in advance? So did you say, okay, now today in 2 weeks we meet up, Kieran, Olga, and you, and then you have to present something? And can I imagine that like this, you know?
Yeah, basically it was just updating, not presenting something itself, but just updating what we've been doing for the past 2 weeks. And during this time also we came up with new ideas on how we can improve the report, of if we can explore something else and like do research on something else. And we divided with Kieran the job, you know, like, okay, you can do this, I'll do this, and then we can manage to get together. So I'm not going to say that it worked perfectly 100% of the time. There were delays sometimes it was hard to communicate with each other, you know, like not answer messages or like, oops, I forgot, you know, it happens. But overall it just worked fine, and I think we really push ourselves to at least manage on most of the meetings, yeah, without much delay.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, I guess you always exchanged phone numbers, right?
Yeah,
And
we had a WhatsApp group, so it worked pretty well.
that's cool. I mean, I think that's also on you know, normal office jobs. You know, sometimes you manage to reach the goal for this week or something like that. Sometimes you don't. But then in the end, it's all about communication with your boss in the end, which was Olga, but also to your coworkers, right?
Yeah.
What do you think was the biggest benefit for yourself after this? I don't 2 months of internships
Yeah. Um, well, I cannot really pick one thing, if I'm honest. I mean, I really enjoy the fact that despite that we were under this lockdown and that you cannot really meet people, we still managed. Like I said, I was able to meet Olga, and I'm really grateful for that, for this chance of meeting up and have a new friend, let's say. So this is one of the things. But in the professional side, as I mentioned before, just having these on the CV that I was able to work on an international project, this helped a lot, actually, you know, for my professional life later on, like my current one. So yeah.
Would you recommend a remote internship? To whom would you recommend this internship? Because what we saw till now, when we got into feedback from students, because in total last year, yes, they had over 100 remote interns globally.
Okay.
And when we looked through the feedback, it was all of them were, so it was similar, but also very different, obviously. But to whom would you say would a remote internship benefit the most, and what would be, not say which kind of person, but the circumstances in the end?
No, that's kind of hard to tell, because in my case, you know, this internship was from not exactly what I'm studying, just like a plus that gave me. And that was my motivation, you know, that I have this extra thing. I'm learning something else related, but not super related to what I'm learning. And also the fact that this internship was not, compared to the other internship offers that I've seen, the one that I did was project oriented. You know, you had this one thing, this analysis you had to do, and that was the internship. Whilst in other internships, I think it's more like you actually have this job that you have to get up at a certain hour and be there present in the office. So, you know, I think if you can accommodate to that type of requirements, then definitely go for it. You know, if you're a student, whatever country you're from, if you want to learn about different culture, the working environment, if you ever think about, oh, I could go to, I don't know, India, so I would like to explore what makes sense there, then yeah, definitely go for it.
Yeah, I mean, I think what was the feedback in the end from the most students was like they were simply happy that they were able to do an internship and to learn something. And what was fascinating for me, for a lot of them, it was also sometimes they said they would not be able to afford like traveling, let's say from Brazil to India or something like that. But due to the remote internships, they were able to do an internship there, and learning about this culture in the end, about their working style, so to say. And I think that's something you learn in an international group. I mean, you said it before, working with Olga from Poland and Kieran from Northern Ireland. It's so different although it's all in Europe. I mean, the working styles are so different, right?
Definitely. Yes, I mean, when I think about how it is, the situation in Ecuador, like working and studying there compared to China, or how it was in Vietnam and Austria, it's so different. But that's what teaches you, as a person, like how do you overcome challenges afterwards, and if you really want to have a career that you don't want to be bounded to just live in Ecuador or just to live in Austria, but really go somewhere else, because why not? It really prepares you for that.
That's really cool. Maybe explain us a little bit, what's the biggest difference for you, because you now having you here is actually quite really cool, because you can tell us a little bit about Ecuador, China, Vietnam, and Austria. So what's the biggest differences on working styles for you? Of course, that's always a little bit, up to the person. So
Yeah,
we do not generalize here, but yeah, just tell us a bit, what's your opinion on that?
I think it really is the power distance here. So because if Ecuador has a really high power distance, you really feel like, oh, that's your boss and you have a certain limit, or that's your professor and you have to, keep a certain distance. In China was the same, Vietnam pretty much was very similar, but Austria has a much lower power distance. So it's easier for you to, and I think in Europe overall, the fact that I met Olga in like such a chill out environment, I don't see it like, oh, my boss, but I can just text her and say, how are you? I would not be able to do that in Ecuador, for example. It would be much harder. So yeah, I actually quite like that in Austria. You're just feel more confident, or propose your ideas, like what we did with Karen. We said for the internship, how about we do this, like go out, and then she was very open to it. You feel it's more limited in a country with a higher power distance. So
yeah, I never heard the term power distance, but I think that really describes a lot of things, because I always used to work in American companies, because they have sites here in Austria too. And I really felt like, because sometimes in Austria we have this, still some, let's say, power distance between the boss and the employee, but I'm used to American companies, and there it's like basically all the same. They're always advertising themselves. We have this flat hierarchy. There's everyone should talk with everyone, and everybody should be, not friends, but you should be able to discuss with everyone. And that's for me like why I enjoy a lot. I enjoyed a lot my placements till now. Yeah. So that was really interesting about the like you traveling around, and also the remote internships. And I think we are now coming a little bit to the end. And thank you very much for being here. And I have one last question actually for you, because you're also a member of IESTE. So basically, maybe you are also a little bit biased, and I think that's worth to mention, because we all like the association. But imagine if you would now be able to talk to a lot of students of the planet, let's say all of them. Okay. And what would you say to them, let's say in 2 or 3 sentences, why they should get involved with IESTE, either as a volunteer or going in an IESTE internship, like on-site internship or a remote internship? What would you say to them?
Well, I think it's very interesting being part of IESTE, because it gives you that sense of being a part of an international community, which is very important, not just like for networking and so on. The fact that you can make friends from people from different countries and participate in events that are very international, that really helps you, not just for your career, but also for your personal growth. It really opens your mind, and it just makes you know that you're not bounded to just one place or to one type of thinking, but you can accommodate to different types of thinkings and different possibilities. So that's the cool part of IESTE international organization overall. Yeah.
Thank you very much.